Tonight, a variable winter storm.
I almost like slipped and died.
No, it's not bad at all, actually.
From just a dusting to half a foot.
East County hit hard. Downtown mostly spared from the snow, but not the ice.
Forerunner had spun out. There was about 6 cars ahead of me. Everyone had slowed to a stop. And then the back end of the semi came out from behind him and hit me.
A dramatic dawn on I-5 when a crash traps a man in his SUV for hours before finally getting free.
Oh my, here it comes.
There we go.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
It's a day marked by business as usual for some, but also an adventure through the snow for many others.
Now the forecast shows a clear night ahead, but also freezing temperatures and potential for more trouble on the roadways.
Thank you for joining us tonight as we continue our special edition snowstorm coverage tonight at 5.
Our crews are spread out all over the area, from the metro up to Washington and even out into the gorge.
We're everywhere, and we're busy here in the studio in downtown too. Let's kick it all off with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino in our KGW Weather Center. Matt.
Hey, Laurel, look at this picture from Bearport. Gary sending this in. That's right, 15 inches of snow at his place. That's up at about 1,200 feet, but still, that's one of the heavier amounts that I've seen from this storm. As you mentioned, downtown Portland on the west side hardly had anything at all, but several locations did have a lot of snow. Camas had 8 inches, Longview nearly 8 inches, Bonneville Dam in the Gorge had a foot, Gresham 4 inches, and Mount Tabor 2 inches, and there were 2 inches up in the West Hills too. So it just really depended on where you were, but from downtown, really from even like 39th Avenue, Cesar Chavez to the west over towards Washington County, not much snow fell at all. Now here's a look outside right now. We're still sitting at 34 with a strong east wind, but temperatures will be plummeting overnight tonight, especially since the showers will be decreasing. There aren't many in downtown right now. Still some snow showers around Yamhill County and around Salem, and then up in the Cascades we've been getting a lot of snow, and there's still some Cascade foothill snow, but the trend will be for these to die off as we go into the nighttime hours, and temperatures that are near freezing right now will be quickly dropping below freezing. Sunsets in about a half an hour, and once we get to 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, we'll be in the 20s again, and some places dropping into the teens. Even the coast in the low to mid 40s right now will be headed below freezing. So the point there is everything will freeze or refreeze. That's going to make roads slippery. That's going to make walkways and sidewalks slippery. And it may look like the road is okay, but it could be a layer of ice. So be super careful driving around out there. So snow showers end tonight. Becomes very cold, as I mentioned. Snow will begin tomorrow late afternoon or more likely early evening. And we could get anywhere again from 1 to 4 inches before it turns to rain for the valley. So this will eventually be a rain event for the valley, but that may not happen until the overnight hours Sunday night and into Monday morning, as that snow level will lift to 500, then eventually 1,000 feet by Monday. So there's a chance for those of you who missed out that we'll get a few inches of snow tomorrow night before it turns to rain. More on this later. Back to you.
All right, we'll see you then. Matt, thank you.
If you got up early this morning and tuned into the KGW Sunrise crew, you saw this, how ice played a big role in several crashes, including this big one on a freeway flyover right in downtown Portland that trapped the driver of that SUV you see.
I was sitting there with my coffee. I couldn't take my eyes off that one. That crash shut down the ramp from I-5 South to Interstate 84 East for 5.5 hours. KGW's Pat Doris talked with the driver.
Before dawn, we could see the blinking lights and the Love's fuel truck stuck on the flyover ramp. Beside it, barely visible, a maroon SUV driven by Alex Reem Sapiano. I met him after he was finally able to drive his banged-up rig off the overpass. We talked inside the SUV. I recorded him with my phone. He was on his way to work when the crash happened.
Forerunner had spun out. There was about 6 cars ahead of me. Everyone had slowed to a stop. Then I looked at my rear view, seeing that the semi was coming and not slowing down, or at least not slowing down as quickly as I thought he should have. So I tried to get out of his way because he was on the far side, and then the car in front of me did the same thing, cutting me off, so I had to stop, and then the back end of the semi came out from behind him and hit me.
And that was that. He was stuck, wedged between the Love's fuel truck and the edge of the freeway, and behind them, traffic started stacking up. At first, it seemed the crash would be cleared quickly.
And the original tow truck driver was having me hit the gas while he was trying to pull me out, but I was too pinned in there.
And that's when everything slowed down. Other tow trucks arrived but couldn't do anything. Finally, a big semi-tow arrived at the front of the fuel truck but still could not find a solution. As we watched during our live broadcast from Sky 8, we had no idea what shape the driver was in. The fire department arrived, and incredibly for those of us watching, Alex came out the driver's side window.
Oh my, here he comes.
There we go.
Wow.
Just fine. And fortunately, had the fencing to help with his balance.
I could have got out of the car anytime I wanted to. I just didn't want to leave my heater.
Smart move, smart move. Eventually, the other drivers stuck behind the crash were able to back down the freeway ramp and clear the road. That let the big tow truck return, this time on the backside of the fuel truck. They lifted it up and moved it over enough to free Alex and his rig. After 5.5 hours, he was finally able to drive off.
Call the boss and say,
I literally, that's who I was on the phone with before you walked out. Because he just got back to me.
Well, if he doesn't believe it, tell him to look on the news.
Right?
Oh, dude.
He seemed fine after the long ordeal, in much better shape than his SUV.
Well, I'm so glad that you're okay.
I'm fine.
Yeah. And thanks for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
Oh my goodness, what a scary position to be in between a fuel truck and the edge of that bridge.
You know, we were watching it from Sky 8 too. You couldn't tell if there was anybody in it in the initial coverage. We're looking and looking, is there a driver in there? And then all of a sudden he climbs out that window.
And you said that fence, that ended.
You saw where he climbed out. He actually grabbed the fence to get out. It was 10 feet to the north. There was no fence.
He was lucky that it happened where it did, I guess. Wow. Well, maybe you didn't get a lot of snow, but East Multnomah County really got a good amount.
They did. They got a dumping up there. Kyle LeBoshi is out there getting a first-hand look for us and joins us live. Hey, Kyle.
There's plenty of snow out here, but also that biting east wind. It is cold out here. That's not stopping people from coming out here to the city park, though. You see behind me all kinds of snow right here in Gresham today, and more folks arriving as we speak. The main city park in Gresham, it looked like a snow park for most of the day. Dozens of kids and parents brought their sleds and took a ride down the hill. The snow, it was icy and fast. That's good for sledding. The only challenge is to avoid the obstacles like benches and trash cans. Several people we spoke with have been coming here for years. It's a neighborhood tradition. When the snow falls, you head to the park.
It's the place to be. Yeah. It's the best hill.
The better the storm, the better the hill.
So how does this one compare?
This is a good one, actually, because the way that the sun has melted a little bit makes it a little bit icier, a little bit slicker, and a little bit more packed, and so they can go a little farther.
I want to snow like the entire week so I can like come down here and probably make it to the end of the park.
And maybe miss some school.
Oh, yeah.
I think the hill is like very good for sledding and making snowman/snowball fights because this hill is mostly for fun.
A couple of cars just rolled in with even more people. A lot of people just walk here, though. It's right in the heart of the neighborhood. They just head over with their sleds and spend the day here. Back to you.
Looks like fun.
So much fun. Thank you, Kyle.
That wind will get you, though.
It does look cold, too. You know, you brought your sled because we were hoping we could sled out here on Jefferson.
We were originally going to be outside. I was going to take that thing right down Jefferson.
Maybe next time.
Are you disappointed?
I am. I don't know. Might have been a little scary,
I know,
though,
right?
if he
It
was
would have
captain.
been. Yep, depending on where you are, you may be digging out, or you may be wondering exactly where all the snow is.
Southwest Washington saw its fair share today. That's where meteorologist Joe Ranieri is. And where exactly are you now, Joe? Sounds like Joe's having a hard time hearing us. He's near Amboy right now, we're told, but we'll check back with him a little bit later to see what conditions are. Yeah. There are also a number of warming centers opening tonight across our area. If you or someone you know needs help, you can call 211 for information, the closest shelter and information on how to get there.
Those centers are also encouraging donations of cold weather items like blankets and sleeping bags, things like that, tents even, to help people deal with these freezing temperatures.
Stay with us. We have a lot more coming your way on this winter blast. And a reminder, you can track up-to-the-minute weather conditions and look at the latest forecast across our region by downloading our brand new Portland weather app from KGW. It's free on all Android and Apple devices.
And when we come back, we're heading out to the gorge. We'll have the latest on the conditions out there in a live report. Stay with us.